Have you ever had the feeling that you are doing everything right to lose weight, but the scale still doesn't move? As if something invisible is pulling you back every time you try to move forward. This frustrates, discourages, and often makes us believe that the problem lies in our willpower. But what if I told you that you're not the problem, but rather silent errors who are sabotaging your weight loss without you noticing? These are attitudes that seem harmless, but that little by little are blocking your healthy weight loss. And the longer it takes you to identify them, the harder it becomes to break out of this cycle. The most dangerous thing about these mistakes is that they hide in your everyday life, in your choices, in your habits, even in your intentions. And the worst, they feel right, like they are part of the effort. But in reality, they are just distancing you from the results you want so much. Therefore, today you will discover the 4 most common mistakes that may be stopping you from truly losing weight, even if you're trying hard. And I'm going to start showing you what they are. Now, are you dedicating yourself, dieting, cutting out things you like, and still the results don't appear? You may be making one of these 4 mistakes that most people make thinking they are on the right path. And I'll start with mistake number 1, which seems like a virtue, but is actually a trap. Eat too little thinking that this will accelerate weight loss. This is the classic error of extreme restriction. When you reduce your diet too much, your body doesn't understand that you are on a weight loss plan. He understands that you are in danger. And what does he do? Get in survival mode. It slows down the metabolism and starts to store fat instead of burning it. Not to mention the drop in energy, mood, and that constant tiredness that makes any small task seem like a huge burden. Result? You even lose weight at first, but soon your body locks up. And after that, any slip turns into instant weight gain. Then, thinking you're doing the right thing, comes mistake number 2, skip meals to save calories. Many people believe that if they don't eat breakfast or lunch, they will make up for the calories at the end of the day. But the effect is exactly the opposite. When you skip meals, your body goes on alert, and your brain interprets this as a lack of food. What happens? When you finally go to eat, hunger becomes uncontrolled, compulsion appears, and the chance of making bad choices increases a lot. Not to mention the impact it has on your satiety and appetite hormones. In other words, you're not saving calories. You're paving the way for compulsive attacks that throw away all the previous effort. Skipping meals disrupts your body, mood, disposition, and of course, your health, ability to lose weight healthily. And if this is already making sense to you, if you are seeing these patterns in your daily life, take advantage of this moment. Leave a like here and subscribe to the channel. It's free. It helps me to continue bringing this type of content that gets straight to the point, and most importantly, it helps you to no longer fall into these traps that stop you from losing weight. You're receiving real information here, so if this has already opened your eyes, pay that back with your subscription. And stay with me, because there's more you need to understand now. Let's talk about mistake number 3. Look for quick fixes and diet fads. You may have heard promises like lose 7 kilos in a week, egg diet, miracle detox, tummy dry tea, and so on. The big trap here is the illusion of quick results. Yes, these strategies can generate initial weight loss, but do you know what they don't give you? Constancy, balance, nor nutritional education. Most of these approaches completely ignore how your body works, how your hormones react, and most importantly, the emotional and behavioral factors involved in eating. What happens to these methods? You may even lose weight in the short term, but as soon as you return to eating normally, or even when you try to stick to the plan, your body responds with rapid weight gain, discouragement, and an accordion effect. It's a cycle that generates frustration, guilt, and an increasingly toxic relationship with food. And the worst part, it makes you believe you're doing your best, when in reality, you're spinning in circles. And now comes the quietest, and at the same time, the most destructive error. Not taking care of your emotions and ending up taking everything out on food. This is one of the biggest saboteurs in the world: female weight loss. How many times have you found yourself eating without real hunger just to relieve tension, sadness, frustration? Sometimes the day was difficult, someone irritated you felt alone, discouraged. And food became the escape, the consolation, the anesthesia. And this happens without you noticing. It's automatic. You don't even feel like you're eating. You only realize it later, when it's past its prime and the guilt hits you hard. This type of behavior cannot be resolved with more diet nor with more restrictions. If you don't look at what's behind your urge to eat, nothing really changes. Why? It's not about food. It's about what food represents to you at that moment. And this mistake, my friend, can keep you trapped for years in a cycle of frustration and self-sabotage. And that's why now we're going to move forward together to understand how to change this from the inside out. Because knowing how to identify the error is just the beginning. What really transforms is when you start acting differently. And that's what comes next. I understand exactly how you feel, because I've been to that place. I've been through the frustration of following a strict diet, exercising even when I'm tired, cutting out everything I couldn't eat, and still looking in the mirror and seeing that nothing has changed. That feeling of doing my best and still not seeing results. It's as if my body is freezing, as if something inside me is sabotaging me, even with all my willpower. And that hurts. It gives a feeling of impotence, of injustice even. I ask myself all the time, what else do I need to do to lose weight? And do you know what the answer was? It wasn't about doing more. It was doing things differently. The problem wasn't laziness. It wasn't a lack of focus, much less weakness. The problem was that I was repeating camouflaged discipline errors, mistakes that seemed part of the process, but were only taking me away from my goals: healthy weight loss. It was only when I started to observe my habits more consciously, with more truth, that everything started to make sense. And that's why I'm here with you now, to help you realize what no one ever told you, and which could be exactly what you're missing for your change to truly begin. So, if you've come this far, it's because you've already realized that there's something in your process of weight loss that needs to be adjusted. And I guarantee you that you are in the right place. Stay with me until the end of this video, because in addition to understanding these 4 mistakes that we just talked about, you will learn exactly what to do in their place. I will show you how to replace these sabotaging behaviors with simple, practical, and possible attitudes, which will help you lose weight healthily and consciously, without suffering, without absurd restrictions, and without living in that eternal accordion effect. And most importantly, you will achieve this by respecting your body, your time, and your reality. Because I know that you don't just want to lose weight. You want to feel good about yourself, look in the mirror, and like what you see. Wear the clothes you want. Leave the house feeling light and without guilt. And this change starts now, with small decisions, with your attention, with your awareness. You no longer need to repeat the same mistakes expecting a different result. What you need is clarity, direction, and action. And all of this is about to come to you. Let's go together. These errors that I've shown you so far have something in common. They are silent. They don't shout. They don't warn. They don't show themselves clearly. And that is precisely why so many good, disciplined, dedicated people remain stuck in the same spot, unable to lose weight healthily in a true way. They disguise themselves as good choices. They seem like smart strategies, but behind the scenes, they are slowly sabotaging your body, And the longer they are active, the harder it becomes to reverse the effects, because your body adapts to this pattern. The metabolism begins to slow down, as if it were saving energy. Your mood drops, retention increases, and your appetite becomes unregulated. And then, what used to require effort now seems impossible, and you don't even realize that these mistakes are there, every day, sapping your energy and blocking your weight loss. It's like trying to run with the handbrake on. You waste energy, get frustrated, blame yourself, and still think the problem is you. But it's not. It's the system you're repeating without realizing it. Therefore, now is the time to look carefully, with truth, because these details that seem small are, in practice, the biggest obstacles in your life. Healthy and permanent weight loss. Maybe now you have that flea behind your ear thinking, "But I always heard that this was right. Eating less, cutting out everything, skipping meals, following that fad diet." And that's where the real danger lies. Because many of these behaviors have been taught as part of a healthy lifestyle, when in fact they are ways of self-sabotage disguised as discipline. You believe you are doing the best for your body, but without realizing it, you are forcing it to react with defense, resistance, and imbalance. This is not discipline. This is punishment disguised as effort. And your body feels it. He doesn't understand that you want to lose weight. He only notices the restriction, the scarcity, the stress. And do you know what he does? He slows down. He protects himself. He starts storing fat, messing with his hormones, and triggering compulsions, all in the name of survival. And while you continue to believe you're doing the right thing, your body is screaming for balance. That's why the sustainable weight loss, it doesn't come from sacrifice. It comes from awareness, from the understanding that your body is not your enemy. He's your partner, but only if you stop treating him like a machine that needs to be forced, punished, or ignored. Let's adjust this mindset now. Now that you understand these 4 mistakes that were sabotaging your journey, stop and think honestly. How many times have you blamed yourself for thinking that the problem was you, when in fact it was these behaviors that seemed right but were pulling you back? Maybe you were trying hard every day, controlling your diet, exercising, trying to stay focused, but the results still weren't coming. And now you're starting to see why. These silent mistakes drain your energy, affect your emotions, slow down your metabolism, and create a cycle where guilt becomes routine. But the most powerful thing about it all is that now that you see it, you can act differently. From today onwards, you can make more conscious decisions, align your attitudes with what really leads to healthy, constant, and lasting weight loss. And it doesn't have to be a radical change. These are subtle adjustments, choices made with presence, with intention, with respect for your body. You don't need to wait for Monday or the right time to start. The turning point begins when you decide to stop punishing yourself with strategies that don't work and start walking with clarity and truth. So pay attention, because in what comes next, I'm going to show you exactly how to put this into practice, not as another miracle diet, but as a new way of relating to food, your body, and your habits. Let's enter this next phase together. Now, I want to hear you. Tell me here in the comments, honestly, which of these 4 mistakes caught you the most? Which one do you realize you were repeating without even realizing it? Maybe it was that exaggerated restriction disguised as discipline, which made you think that eating little was the quickest way. Or maybe you identified with the habit of skipping meals, thinking you were saving calories, but deep down, you were just fueling the cycle of eating, binge eating. It may even be that you fell into the trap of miracle solutions, fad diets, thinking you were doing the right thing, when, in fact, you were just accelerating the accordion effect, or that deeper, more invisible error, using food as an emotional outlet without even realizing that you were eating feelings, not food. And if you found yourself in any of these scenarios, comment below. Because just by writing, just by putting it out, you start to break this cycle of let's sabotage the car. And more than that, when you share, you inspire. You help other people who are going through the same thing understand that they are not alone. And that, yes, there is a way out. And now, take the opportunity to enjoy this video. It doesn't cost you anything, but for me, it's the fuel that keeps me producing this content, bringing truth, bringing clarity, and helping you in a real way to achieve a weight loss with health and awareness. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, subscribe now. Here, we don't talk about magic formulas. We talk about real change, transformation that starts inside and reflects outside. Oh, and share this video with that person you know who keeps saying, I do everything right, but I don't lose weight. Sometimes she just doesn't understand that what is stopping the process is not what she does, but what she repeats without awareness. Follow me, because the next step could be exactly what was needed for your turnaround to begin. If this video opened your eyes and you finally understood why your weight loss was stuck, then the next step is urgent, because there is something even deeper that could be sabotaging your body, and you don't even notice. In the next video, I will show you the 5 hidden triggers that make you eat without hunger, activate compulsion, and destroy your weight loss day after day. And the longer it takes to find out, the harder it becomes to break this cycle. It's not an exaggeration. It's what's holding you back without you knowing. So click now and watch, because understanding this could be the turnaround your body and mind were asking for. Take it from me, you won't want to remain in the dark after what I'm going to show you. Get out there before another day goes by like the rest.